Michelle here. In today's video, I have kind of a surprise for you. I'm not doing a plant video today. Instead, I am interviewing another plant YouTuber. Her name is Rachel, and she has a channel named Mixon's Plants. It used to be Mixon's Plants and Crafts, but now it's Mixon's Plants. She got in touch with me after seeing one of my videos and was just so nice and so warm and so welcoming. And she invited me to go ahead and have a little bit of an interview on her channel. And then I turned around and interviewed her for my channel. So everybody got interviewed and everybody was an interviewer. So that was really great. You will see my interview with Rachel following this intro. And if you want to go ahead and check out my interview or the interview done with me, I will go ahead and put a link in the description and right up here for you to go ahead and take a look at if you're interested to see what I have to say on some various Hoya and plant topics. If you like today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That lets the word get out to the YouTube universe that my channel exists and that I'm out here producing videos, Hoya videos, that people might like to see. If you'd like to help my channel out further, please consider subscribing to my channel. I recently passed my goal of 1,000 subscribers and I'm really rocketing past that. So everyone who will consider subscribing to me, I greatly appreciate it. So thanks in advance if you decide to subscribe. And finally, if you want to help out this video further, please put a comment in the comment section below. I do read and respond to all of my comments, so if you give me a moment, I will get back to you. Sometimes it may take me a day or two. I'm trying to get better at responding to all of my comments right away, same day at least. So now I will go ahead and introduce Rachel, and let's go ahead and take a look at my interview of Rachel. Thanks again. Well, thank you, Rachel, for coming today. I really appreciate it. I know it can be a little unusual to say, hey, let's go ahead and sit down and talk to each other. So I really appreciate it. And can you go ahead and tell me just a little bit about yourself? Tell me what got you in this plant journey and what made you start your plant channel, which was Mixon's Plants and Crafts, but now it's Mixon's Plants.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. And we've been already chatting it up about plants and Hoyas and
Yep.
stuff. But for me, with what got me into plants, it's just a wild thing when sadness happen. We tend to go to things for comfort, I guess. So I had a loss in my family. My dad passed away. I think it was, I'm looking at the date, a little over 10, 13, it was 13 years ago. And during that period, I had to make a lot of changes, like move closer to my mom. And I lived in Florida at the time, and I had a nice patio area in the back. And I was like, I'm just gonna get some plants, not knowing anything about plants. And Florida, you can have them outside. So I bought like a lot of plants, not knowing, researching nothing. This was back then. And I was getting my master's, working full time, dealing with loss, and the plants did not make it. I think I had them for maybe a year. I was getting home at 11 o'clock at night, like 2 nights a week because I was in school and then working, and it just was not, my friends would come over and be like, are you going to water your plants? I'm like, um, it was just a thing back then where I just wanted plants. So after that whole thing, after they kind of died, I didn't go back until 5 years ago. when I had another loss in the family. My mother-in-law passed, and I acquired a plant basket, and that kind of started it up again. But this time I did it a lot different because I researched. I started getting on YouTube, finding out about the plant. I asked questions to people who I knew was into plants. And that's kind of where everything started there with the second part of like trying plants again.
I know you said that you fairly recently moved into your new house. How long have you had your plant room?
This plant room, we've moved here 2 years. So the house we had before, I did have another plant room there. Um, it was a smaller house, and when I moved here, it's a lot bigger. So I acquired way more plants. I did like lose some plants in the transition and everything, and gave some plants away. But when I moved here, I definitely got more plants. I got a lot. I mean, we had more house, more opportunities. It's a west window and a north window. I okay, yeah. I and that's kind of when I had Hoyas already, but I wanted more Hoyas because I wanted to take advantage of this west window, with because like I feel like I if I were to sit a philodendron in the west window, it might burn the leaves, because like the west window light is beautiful because it's like that evening light, but there's a period where it's really intense. So that's
Yeah.
why I put my Hoyas there.
So, how long have you had Hoyas?
I 5 years, but I didn't acquire all of them at one time. I got I think like my pubic calyx splash and my Hoya compacta is what ignited the whole Hoya journey for me. I didn't get any blooms for a long time, but just like like seeing them like change in the old house, watching them grow. And I mean, the Hoya compacta, the leaves are so unique, and then the pubic calyx, you see the new leaves come in and it's splashier. I'm like, oh, this is really nice. I want more. So that's kind of
Yeah.
how it started with Hoyas for me. And when I started researching, I was like, they bloom like that, and it smells okay and amazing and not so good. I wanted to kind of experience that. So that's kind of when the Hoya journey started.
How long ago was that?
Five
You
years.
think 5 years? Wow. So you've really had an extensive time to grow them and to get to familiarize yourself with them. Do you like Hoyas for the blooms, for the leaves? What was your initial interest and what is it now?
First, it was the leaves, and then it went to the blooms. Now I go for, I kind of go for the blooms now, but as like when I started, it was for the leaves.
When I first started collecting, all I didn't even know they bloomed. I was like, this leaf looks like it belongs in prehistoric times,
Yeah,
and this leaf turns different colors. And so I was try and get like a sample from each type of
yeah,
different Hoya. I was like, okay, I want one that looks a little bit like Jurassic Park or
yeah,
prehistoric, and I
yeah,
want I
yeah.
want one of those.
And then when you start researching it, you that's when you start seeing like, oh, prehistoric leaf. I want that too. Man, there's such a wide variety, and the leaves don't get so giant, so it's a little bit more manageable. And I think like that's one of the reasons too why I was kind of going towards Hoyas, because I had philodendrons. And when you get to know philodendrons, the leaves get bigger, the stem gets thicker, they can't even hold themselves up anymore. So yeah, Hoyas definitely was like a good transition. into into a different part of the hobby.
You did a video, and your title of your video was your 50 Hoya. Do a tour of your 50 Hoya. And I was just interested to see, since you've done that, have you got any additional Hoya since then?
I went and looked at my Etsy orders because that's where I acquire most of my plants. So I do have, I think back then I didn't have my Hoya Bella when I did that video. I don't remember. So I got the Hoya Bella. I wrote some. I think like when I did the video, I had the Hoya Insularis, and that one was like a cutting and wasn't doing well. So I purchased another one because I don't know. Sometimes when you get Hoya cuttings, they don't always take off. And I tried too many things with it. It died. It like literally died overnight. So I bought another one, and within like 30, less than 30 days, it just took off. So I got the Hoya Insularis. Multiflora, I got that one. And the Campanulata and Archboliana. So
Wow.
those are the ones that I got since that video.
Well, that's nice. So the ones that you're getting are more medium sized Hoya.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they're cuttings. Except for the Hoya Bella, I bought that one as a full plant, but all the other Hoyas are just cuttings or small.
do you take a lot of photos of your Hoyas to document the process?
I don't really do that as much, but I do need to do it more because so I can get footage for when I do a video on it. But I don't really take a lot of pictures of my plants.
That's interesting. I take a lot of pictures of my plants, but now that they're of a certain size, I don't do it so much anymore
Okay.
because it's harder to see the growth. When you already have a plant that's this big and you're taking pictures of all its of it in as it is with all its leaves, then you take a picture like say 6 months later. When it's a small Hoya, you can see
Right.
the
Yeah.
growth a lot more, but when you get to a certain size, it's like it just looks bushier.
Right, right. I am definitely going to be doing that a lot more. Since I'm on YouTube, it's so good to have like that first, start picture to where you are now kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, if you go through my phone, there is a lot of pictures of plants and dogs. We have Akitas. So if you know anything about Akitas, they're not like staffies because staffies are like they want to please their master. Akitas are not that way. They're very loyal, but they want to please their master for 5 seconds and walk away.
Yeah, that's funny. In your another one of your videos right after your 50 Hoya video, you were talking about the Hoya that you've bloomed in your care. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the Hoyas that have bloomed in your care?
So I went to my video when I saw that question and I wrote down. I don't have the names of all of them, but I can give you like a speculation of them. I think you also asked like my favorite one.
Yeah,
Okay, so 19 Hoyas have bloomed for me already.
that is really good.
I think actually 20 because the Calistophylla bloomed after my video. So
Oh,
yes, yeah, 20 blooms. Crazy, right? I don't know if I'll get blooms this year with what I'm going through, but I love when I get blooms because you never know what's going to happen in the morning, what it's going to smell like. It
yeah,
could be good, it could be bad.
some of them get a little overly fragrant.
Yes.
You
Well,
know,
the Croniana silver is very intoxicating. It fills the whole room in the morning and evening. That's just one of my favorite things. But when you go close to it, it definitely is too overpowering.
Do you have any carnosas? Have you had any carnosas bloom?
Yes, the compacta, the Hoya carnosa compacta bloomed, and the regular carnosa bloomed. I think in fall of fall last year that bloomed. And yeah, those are the two carnosas that bloom so far. And the compacta it keeps blooming. It starts in middle of spring and stops in the middle of fall. It just keeps going. I think like at one point I had 5 blooms on that plant, and
Wow.
um, and once fall it got a little cooler in here, it stopped. And I love the carnosa bloom. It's a common bloom, right? But on the compacta, it's like a rope like Hoya, and then like you have this dangly little rope, and on each like parts of the rope there's these pink little teddy bear kind of like blooms. It's so cute, it's so pretty. um my Hoya Velosa is a favorite one that's bloomed. And why? Because that bloomed lasted 30 days.
Wow. Wow, that is really great. I have not bloomed my Velosa yet, so now I
It
know what I
happened
need to.
during January of last year, and it didn't go. I was like, when is this gonna drop? I love it though. It's very beautiful. And the other Hoya that's bloomed, the Hoya Pendorata that I love, that Hoya looks a lot like Velosa, and it also lasts really long, and it smells like Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, that is, I've
Yeah.
not heard that one yet. Now, do you think that the compacta smells like chocolate? Some people say they do, some people say they smell like something
If
else.
anyone here have watched my channel, they know they know what's coming. Okay, so it starts off with chocolate and cherries, but after day 3, it smells so bad, with a hint of chocolate and cherries. So it's like I was like gym socks, um, like like a bad new car smell. I mean, it just has an artificial, maybe it's just really fragrant, or it's really high scented. That's probably why it smells so strong. There's just a hint of chocolate and cherries, but when it first bloomed, it smells pleasant. You do have to go up to it to smell it. It doesn't fill the room like the carnosa that does. But I always trick my husband into like, check out this Hoya bloom. You want to smell it? He doesn't trust me.
Oh, do you have you bloomed or do you have a Hishkiliana?
I
Because
do have a Hishkiliana. It's small. I purchased, I think like either last year, I think like January last year, I got like cuttings, like 2 leaf cuttings, and that plant it's like grown a little bit, but I do have one. It's just so small. It's gonna be that like that for a while. Um
well, those smell like a cross between buttered popcorn and butterscotch popcorn.
I
It's a
cannot wait to smell
very
that.
it smells good initially, and then it gets kind of like you said, it kind of uh matures in fragrance, I guess you could
Right.
say. And
We really should put our heads together and get some research going into like how these blooms kind of bloom scents kind of transform, because after a few days, certain Hoyas, not all of them, there is just like it's so concentrated. It doesn't smell good.
yeah, I have a croniana or a lacanosa in my window, and it's been blooming the whole winter.
Nice.
So at first it was nice. It's long. It's about 4 feet long, so it just hangs on my window. And the blooms, at first the blooms were up here towards the top, and now the blooms are getting further down. And I'm noticing, I'm like, as the blooms get further down, they get more sickeningly sweet. Is a
Yeah.
good way of putting it. They, you know, I have a lot of my Hoya like in the cabinet, like Finlaysonii. They have such a light scent, and it's hard.
So what does your Finlaysonia smell like? Because mine smells like citrus.
It smells, yeah, it smells a little citrusy, a little, it smells very fresh. It smells, it's got a very light floral scent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it does, it also reminds me of, you know, do you ever go to like, uh, what is it, Bath and Body Works, and then
Okay, yeah.
you start smelling all the products, and at first they all smell great, and
And
then after a
yeah,
while you start
no,
smelling a whole bunch of them, and they kind of all blend
they all
together.
blend
And
together, and then you, when you even pass by it, you don't even need to know what it smells in there because you already know the smells
yep.
kind of come to you. Yeah. But the Finlaysonii, um, as much as it's like very citrusy, it's a sweet smelling one, but the linearis, I was expecting a sweet lemon from that one, but it smelled like lemon rind. It was like more
Oh,
savory than sweet.
that's interesting. I
I was like,
haven't.
this needs like shrimp and butter.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before. Shrimp and butter.
Me too.
I've made a lot of shrimp scampi before, so I'm imagining that smell right
It
now.
was quite a savory smell. Not really bad, but I was just expecting dessert like, not savory. So
Yeah, not too. Most of them smell sweet, and I did a video, and I did some research about that, and it's all about what kind of pollinator they hope to
mhm, right.
attract. You know, some of them smell kind of like garbage because that's what they attract. You
Right,
know,
fly.
is they.
Yeah, I remember watching that video from you. You know, what I you since we moved here, it's like we're in the country, so we have moths. So when the moths come in, I try to bring them in this room here. I was like, go
Oh,
and hang out with
really?
my Hoyas. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe you'll get one
To pollinate,
pollinated.
I would love that. I am like, get in this room, please. Try to like catch them and put them in this room so they can do some work in there.
That's interesting. I've never heard anyone do that, but of course I live in the city where we have no moths, so
Yeah, there's a lot in once summer comes.
that's interesting. Would you say you are kind of a slow methodical collector, or are you a kind of a collector that you see something and you want to buy it to add to your collection? Do you
So
have wish
at
lists?
first I was a quick collector, but now I am a little bit more methodical because, like, well, what does this bloom look like? How long is it going to take? Do I have the place for it? Is it a fast? You know, sometimes maybe I'll overthink a Hoya now, especially now that I'm going through my dry rot issues. But I acquired the Campanulata and the Archboliana because of what the blooms look like.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
so I have a goal to kind of get some Hoyas to bloom this year and put, research where they came from and try to put them in that environment, make it to see if I can get them to bloom. So we'll see.
Well, that should be interesting coming up over this year, seeing you m- try to go toward growing your Hoya to bloom.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Actually, I have a plan to. Okay, so I remember that Doug Chamberlain uh would, like, there's some Hoyas that he moved with the light, and I'm gonna do that. So I'm planning to put some in the south window, and once the sun moves to the west window, they're gonna go in the west window. So they're gonna be chasing light all day. I want to see what happens.
That's very interesting. I've not tried that. Normally, where my Hoya land up is, that's just where they land up.
I'm intentionally making them bloom. So we'll see.
Well, that are you going to do a video on that? Do you
Yeah, I'll
think?
probably do an experimental video, like I did my pubic calyx splash kind of footage with like me sharing my experience with it. But I have plans because now that the sun is coming in, even today I was like, man, that sunlight is really coming in here. It's time to get some time to get some Hoyas in there. But my
Oh,
Hoyas are not well. Oh man, because I wanted to put the Koniana princess chasing the light to see what happened, but no, we'll see. I can still
yeah.
probably do it once she gets some roots.
Yeah, it should root pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I know that what you're talking about is you just had some videos released where you talked about you'd had some issues with some of your Hoya. Has that
Dry rot.
have you had anything like that happen to you
Before,
before?
no, never had dry rot. I actually had in the process two with, I don't know, is there such thing as wet root rot? Because now, we're talking
Yep.
about dry rot. So two of them had root rot from being too wet. Because, and it's funny because like the roots still look the same as a dry rot root, but it just like peeled off. The dry rot just snapped off.
I think it's surprising to a lot of people to learn that for Hoyas there is more than one way to rot the roots. So
Yeah.
you're not always safe if you leave it wet, and you're not always safe if you leave it dry. They can rot on you both ways, unfortunately. Uh, but I know that you just released those videos on that, and I can tell you I have been there, and what I can tell you is that they will move past that, and you will be in a place where you will look at your Hoy and you go, I don't even see where that had root rot.
I
Or
I wanted to say that. I think like it comes down to personality because I went through a layoff in July and I just don't like change. I don't force me to change. This is forcing me to change. I mean, it's a good thing that's happening because it's making me aware of like my habits, cuz like I'm going to do a video that talks about shortcut in plant care, how it can affect you in the long term. Because the shortcuts I took with my plants has cost me my plants.
oh, well, I wouldn't say they've cost you your plants,
Well,
but
they've cost me the progress. I've gone, had to go backwards, but shortcuts do cost, and I'm still gonna take some shortcuts, do quick waters and stuff here and there, but I think like I'm just gonna watch my shortcuts from now on instead of always doing shortcuts with plant
are
care.
you, are you talking about like watering and things
Yes,
like that?
watering, um, letting it sit in water too long too, because sometimes I'll water and then I'll get distracted and I'm like, oh, I'll come back in 2 hours. 2 days later.
My mix has it's very chunky, but it has tree fern fiber as the kind of binding agent to say,
Mhm.
and I have saucers underneath my pots, and so I'll water them. But when you water a chunky mix, and I water in place, so
Mhm.
I have a thing with a wand, and I just go in there and water. Um, I have saucers, and so I water extra so that they have enough to like soak up over
Mhm.
like the course of a couple hours or overnight.
Yeah.
So it can be good to do that, but you if you leave it in for like a couple of days.
Sometimes I do like to flush, and then sometimes I do like to. Most of the times I water in place, but when I water in place, set that alarm to come back and check and empty instead of letting it sit for 2 days. Because some of the things that you deal with in your everyday life, you really do forget about the thing that you start. It's like, wait, wasn't there something I had to do?
Yeah, I do that too. I have to jot things down or I'll just totally forget. I knew I was supposed to do something, but can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
You had just mentioned that you were going to do a video about recovering from root rot and and your Hoya growing. Is there like a particular kind of video you like to film, you like to record for your channel?
I in my plant journey with YouTube, what I show people, I like to share with them the raw, real part of our journey. I never want to come on camera and share like just a happy side of things. I, I want to be ripping Hoya roots out and stuff and being dramatic about it. Just to show like it's not all like rainbows and sunshine. But at the same time, I love showing my plants. I love it. I love telling them the stories behind it. It is brings me so much joy, and it kind of like bring me closer again to that plant. So yeah, the things that I do bring people on along the journey with is just like if somebody were to come over my house and see my plants, it is exactly what I give my audience. I like bringing that part of my journey, showing people that stuff.
Because then it just makes the good stuff even better.
Oh, I know. I mean, I was envisioning like, man, 6 months from now, my Hoya collection tour is going to be like so much different than what it is like right now if I were to do it, because there will be a transformation.
Exactly. And it's not the same day in and day out and month in and month out because, they change all the time. Hoyas are definitely very to use a word from my childhood, they're persnickety. Uh
Yes, they are persnickety. Yeah.
what how has the response been from your viewers to see these kind of Hoya videos? Do they like
Um,
them? Do they not like them? Do they like seeing you take your real journey? Or because I know some people, when they have shown, the bad things that can happen, sometimes they're like, I really just tuned into your video just to see, the pretty plants.
on YouTube, there's like the thumbs down button that you can see. Like I think like your audience can't see it, but you can. There are some thumbs down on some of my like raw videos that I do. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I get, you can see like 100% positive, and then you see one that's like, 98% positive, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, somebody
Right.
didn't like that.
Yeah, and someone put a few thumbs down in my Doug Chamberlain interview. I was like, listen, let that thumbs down be for my interviewing side, not for Mr. Doug, because he had nothing, like there was no bad parts of his interview. So
No, I really enjoyed that interview a lot. He's such a down to earth person.
mhm.
What was it like interviewing him for your channel?
He is so fun and hilarious. He made me laugh a lot. There's a lot of the unedited version of that video. We laughed a lot. Um I love his passion for Hoyas. He integrates it in his life, like Hoya bed sheets, Hoya kitchen towels. It's just like Everything's Hoya.
Was that your first interview with someone, or have you interviewed other growers before?
I've never interviewed anyone. So, in order for me to get ready for Doug's interview, if he did say yes, I started contacting all my Instagram friends to see if they would do an interview with me on the channel. And I had two interviews. Did I have two or three? I think two interviews before Doug so I can get practice because I've never done that before. And I had the time to do it because I had like been in layoff. I didn't have to work. So I was like, this is a great way for me to practice. I still get information into the channel from someone else. So yeah, that's kind of what happened, how I did it. And I actually really enjoy interviewing because so interviewing is a great way to get information onto your channel that you don't know but somebody else does. And it's just a great way to like collaborate with someone and get to know in the people in the community, because that's like another goal of mine is to also kind of get to know other creators in a plant community. um, there's a lot of people, out there that's doing the same thing, and I love chatting with them. I just enjoy kind of getting to know people. I have a I'm a like went to school for counseling, so it's just kind of a habit to try to draw something out of someone. Did you hear the story of me knocking on someone's door in my neighborhood asking them, "Do you love plants?"
No.
There's when we moved here 2 years ago, there's a house every spring and summer. There's a lot of plants in like her patio area. I was like, I bet you that's a plant lady. I bet you. I told James, I'm like, I'm gonna go to her house. I'm gonna go to her house one day and find out. He's like, okay. And the day came, I went to the doctor and I was coming back home and I saw the house. I made a U-turn by my house and went back to her house. I knocked on the door and no one answered. I'm like, dang it. So I left. And in order to like come out of her space, you have to U-turn back out. So when I was U-turning back out, she came out and I'm like, oh my gosh, she came out. I'm going back. I'm going back in. So I parked again and I went and knocked and she answered. And I said,
Uh-huh.
I'm just here because I'm admiring your plants outside. I just want to know, are you also a plant lady? Because I am. And she said yes. She was a little nervous because she didn't, I mean, it's like strangers knocking on your door asking these questions. So we just started chatting and then we became friends. And she has gotten a lot of my plants already.
Uh,
So she's
so
like,
you're passing them along.
yeah, so she's like right down the street from me. And she gave me one of her heirloom plants. It's like a night blooming cactus. I have it in the living room. So yeah, I mean, spring is coming, so I'm gonna be seeing her again.
Do you have any other types of hobbies?
Oh, that's a good question. I have sourdough. I make sourdough. That I feel like that's a hobby, but it's like not like the plant hobby because I can eat it. I can't eat my plants. So I make sourdough. I kind of like try certain things with sourdough.
Do you like to bake, or is it just
I do like to bake and try things, but before plants, I kind of wanted to do a food channel, but the only problem with that is you got to eat it. Because I didn't have people to like give like all the stuff to, because I'm like I'm gonna get fat. I keep eating this. So that's kind of probably why I don't have a food channel, because I would have a food channel if I didn't have to eat everything. If I had like a family that I can just send it to, I would do that.
that's awesome. What's your favorite thing to make? At least
Um,
right
my,
now.
my favorite thing to make,
Other than
I've been
sourdough.
other than well, it's still like sourdough related. So my favorite thing to make right now is there's a sourdough discard cake. Because like when I refeed my starter to get active again, there's a lot of discard and I just can't throw it away. Although they say you should, I use it to make a cake, and I think I've made this cake like 20 times already. Um, but I um I kind of want to get into like making sweet breads and stuff. But again, I don't want to eat it. I want to eat it, but then I can't stop. Um, so I've been looking into like small batch cooking, like small batch baking. So that kind of gives me like a portion control, so I don't have to eat the whole thing all at one time because I am like obsessed with like sweet treats. I love it. I let go of my sourdough, I think it was last year. I think during fall was when I wanted to like bake again. And I thought like, oh, maybe I can just make a yeasted dough. And like the more I thought about it, I was like, oh no, I don't want to like knead this dough for 10 minutes. No, we're gonna stick with sourdough. When we have like the seasons come in, there's things I make. So spring, I usually make an Easter buns or hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns.
And then I make Irish soda bread.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. I love that. The other main hobby I have is sewing. So I do, and sewing was before plants actually. I actually, when the plants came into my life and then YouTube, I actually let sewing kind of die and I brought it back to life again.
Do you have any like crafts that you like to do, uh, like in certain seasons or anything like that?
I see a problem in my house and I fix it with sewing. So that's kind of that's kind of what like how it happens. Um right now I've been making a lot of like casserole type food where it's easy and you take it out, and in our new house I don't want to put the casserole dish on a counter, so I'm like, well, I got to go make something for that. If whenever there's like a problem somehow in the house, I'm like, let's make something for that. So, and then I feel so accomplished when it's actually done. I envision something and then I make it without a pattern. And yeah, it's nice to see it come to life.
That's great. That's great that you have matured so much in your sewing that you can just have a vision and make it.
I
You
even made
know,
something. I had a problem with pots. Okay, I'll show you. So, I still have to clean these pots. So when I take out a plant, I have all these pots. So I'm like, well, how can I make sewing? How can I fix this with sewing? And I did. I made a pot dispenser from my
I I saw it. It looks like the things that people make for putting plastic bags in.
yeah,
Is that
yes,
the tall? I
yep.
saw that and I was like, I bet she sewed that.
Yeah, I
I
I
saw
have
that.
I made it. And then when I'm gonna do my repotting, like here's my repot area, I take it out and I hang it right here, and my pots are just here. I just collect it and I
That's a I saw that and at first I was like, "Oh, she's got like a bag, like a bag organizer." And then I saw you like get out pots and I was like, "She
yeah,
put pots in that." I
yeah.
never seen that before. That was such a great idea. I saw that and I was like,
I love like problem solving some of those things. Like I have a problem in this room, let's try to fix it.
"How long have you had your channel?"
It's been 2 years. Actually, a month ago made it 2 years, so it's been 2 years and 1 month. And oh, you had asked me kind of why I started sharing my plants on YouTube. I think because I think I started on Instagram and I hate Instagram. I don't like it. I hate quick cuts. I don't like having to give like 30 seconds of this thing. I want to tell someone a story. I want to bring somebody in the journey. So I kind of just started my channel. I just want to show my plants and have an opportunity to talk about it because I got no one to talk to about my plants. Talk to my husband, and he's like, uh huh, yeah, I don't want to smell it. No. So those are the things that he says. I'm like, well, YouTube is kind of a chance for me to kind of just be in the journey with others as well. And, now it's like curating to a Hoya channel. Oh my gosh, my first editing, like my first video to edit, I cried. I cried.
Oh no.
I didn't know anything about editing for long form video. I remember I cried. I didn't know what to do, but you know what? 2 years and a month later, I love it. I love editing. It's another way to get creative.
I've been trying and do something a little extra that I didn't do the previous time on each one
Hmm.
of my videos. So
Yeah.
I've set a goal to myself to try and become a little better each video. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, for wanting to talk to me today,
Yeah, we
for
had fun.
Okay, so that's the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed my interviewing Rachel and asking her all sorts of questions. If you have any question that you might think to ask Rachel, please be sure to check out her YouTube channel, which is Mixon's Plants. So you will have a wider range of videos to check out there. She has some really great topics. Thank you again for staying with me, especially if you stay with me till the end. I know that you have a lot of things that you could do with your time, and I really appreciate that you chose to spend that time with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again. Bye. Please move.